Good evening, everyone. Thank you tonight for coming out to tonight's City Council meeting. I'm going to call the meeting to order and ask the clerk to call the roll.
Mayor Ford,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Bullock,
Here.
Councilman Amador,
Present.
Councilman Teedy,
Here.
Councilwoman Carson,
Present.
Councilman Diaz,
Here.
Councilman McEldowney, Councilwoman Elliott,
Present.
Councilman Douglas.
Present.
Mr. Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. For our special meeting tonight, March 14th, I want the record to show that the only one missing is Mr. McEldowney, and I would ask for a motion for his excused absence. Mr. Amador.
So move.
Mr. Teeter.
Second.
A motion and a second to allow Mr. McEldowney to be excused for this evening. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion is carried, and if Mr. McEldowney happens to show up, we will fix the record. All right, first item, I'd like everybody to stand and join me in a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. First item on the agenda is Resolution 2015-19. I'd like to invite Mr. Kramer forward to make a brief presentation.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor.
Good evening.
Members of Council. I'm here to provide an update regarding the potential adoption of the Master Development Agreement for the Mile High Greyhound Park. So we're just going to review what happened on the last time that we discussed this, review some of the steps that have happened since then, and talk about potential next steps. On February 1, it was the last time we had a chance to discuss the issue of the Master Development Agreement. We reviewed the process. During that meeting, there was a discussion by council about a proposed change with the school district TIF shareback as a deal point, and there are also some additional comments by a new potential residential developer, Del West. So at that point, council decided to continue the case until tonight so that staff could get additional input from the school district. This is a lot of data, a lot of words on this slide, but I can just tell you, in short, staff was successful at talking with the school district. They are supportive of the project, keeping the TIF for both residential and commercial. However, they expressed some real concern about some short-term space concerns that they have at Central, and have asked that the project figure out a way to have a voluntary contribution for the dollar amount equivalent to a modular type classroom space that could be installed for the 2017 school year. Included would be a water tap to go along with that. Furthermore, they ask that if there's an additional mill levy override, that that new mill levy not be included as a part of the TIF. So as staff, we have passed this information along to Regen, who we have the MOU with, and Regen is busy utilizing that information as a part of their discussions with Del West. And that was the other element of what happened in February that's been occurring since that meeting until now. I'm not going to go through these step by step, but I think it illustrates how much activity there has been since February 1st. Multiple term sheets, multiple LOIs have gone back and forth. As we sit here tonight, there is no letter of intent between the two parties, but it does sound like progress has been made. Both of those parties are hopeful to be able to work out a letter of intent as a result of their discussions. So as a result, staff is recommending to allow those negotiations to continue, that we continue the adoption of the MDA until April 18th. The reason the MDA is tied to that somewhat is that there is a chance that terms within the Master Developer Agreement between the city and Regen might change as a result of the LOI that's achieved between Regen and Del West. So as a result, so that we don't have to go back and change that later, the idea is that we wait until they have their letter of intent signed before the master developer agreement is signed. So that is all staff has at this time and is available for any questions you have.
Does the council have any questions at this time for staff? Mr. Bullock?
No, I don't.
Well, your light's on.
I don't know how it popped on.
Well,
I didn't do
well.
nothing.
I'm just telling you what I know. I'd like to make, for the record, Mr. McEldowney's here. I know he almost injured himself, but he is here. I'm glad to see you, Mr. McEldowney. If there's no questions for staff, I'm open for a motion to continue. Mr. Bullock?
So moved.
Mr. Amador?
Second.
I have a motion and a second to continue the master development agreement to April 18th, correct? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion's carried. Next item on the agenda, the ordinance on first reading, ordinance 2083. Anyone on council have any questions regarding this ordinance? Seeing none, is there anyone in the audience who would like to address the council on this ordinance? Seeing none, I'm open for a motion to introduce the ordinance. Mr. Bullock.
Move to introduce ordinance 2083 on first reading.
Okay, Mr. McEldowney.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to introduce ordinance 2083 on first reading. All those in favor signify by saying, roll call, please, title, and a roll call.
Title reads, an ordinance amending the Commerce City Revised Municipal Code by adding section 2-3006 entitled Citizen Public Safety Advisory Board to Article 3 of Chapter 2.
All right, thanks, Bob. I'll take a roll call vote. For the record, ordinance 2083 is introduced unanimously by the council. Now, if there be nothing further to come before the council. So I got to ask, there's a lot of people here. Does anybody want to come up and say anything before I close this meeting out? Good evening. I need you to state your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Ashley Stieber, and I work at Adams City High School. I live in Greeley, Colorado. Do you still want my address?
You can use the school district's
Okay.
address, yeah.
Use what?
You can use the school district's address.
It's 7200 Quebec Parkway,
Okay.
Commerce City, Colorado.
Thank you.
And so we brought for you, we have a performance from our musical. We performed at our parent-teacher conferences, and so we would like to perform that for you.
Well, let's get performing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I maintain my touch, but loud
That's pretty good with the stage anyway.
Before you all leave, I'd like to say a couple of things. First of all, anybody watching at home or here tonight, March 17th through the 19th at 7 o'clock at the Adams City High School, correct? Yeah. They'll be performing their Footloose. This is one of the best council meetings to have all the youth come in here and show us what they're all about, what they're doing at school. It's an important part of our community. And I can also tell you that at this time, the council has not decided to ban music in Commerce City. So I think we're okay. Thanks again, and have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You.
Fun stuff. And I didn't even have to use the emergency button. That's good. All right. If there be no further business to come before the special city council meeting on March 14th, we are adjourned. Now I'm going to go ahead and open up the URA meeting. I'll call the meeting to order and ask the secretary to call the roll.
Yes, Chairman Ford?
Here.
Vice Chairman Bullock?
Here.
Board Member Amador?
Present.
Board Member Teeter?
Here.
Board Member Carson?
Present.
Board Member Diaz?
Here.
Board Member Bullock, or I'm sorry, Board Member McEldowney? Here. Board Member Elliott?
Present.
Board Member Douglas?
Present.
Mr. Chairman, you have